Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. You know, there's been, as I stated in my opening monologue, we have just so much going on in the world today. Kathy Sanders lost her grandchildren in the Oklahoma City bombing, the deadliest attack of domestic terrorism. For 30 years, she has pursued answers that the official story never provided. Her book, Shadows of Conspiracy, is not just about 1995. It's about today. As Americans question institutions more than ever, as President Trump pushes for Antifa's terrorist designation, as shootings in Michigan and North Carolina shake our communities, in Minnesota, and as even 9/11 is being re-examined by voices like Tucker Carlson, Kathy's perspective is urgent. She has lived through tragedy, investigated cover-ups, and seen how radicalization grows when government fails. Today, she joins us to connect the lessons of Oklahoma City to the crises we are facing right now. Kathy, welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thank you, John. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, for those who missed our first interview, Kathy, take us back to April 19th, 1995. How did losing your grandchildren in the bombing change the way you view government and truth?
Well, it changed my whole life. Before the bombing, I had just been this kind of little Betty Crocker kind of gal and kept my head in the sand, you know. I didn't know what was going on around me because life was good. Shortly after the bombing, I had the parents of the children that were killed in the... I'm sorry. This is echoing. It just keeps repeating,
No,
John.
it's coming clear on our end.
Okay, well, okay.
Do you have a radio?
Anyway,
are you near any speakers or radios?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I hear it, Paul.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had the parents of the children that were killed in the bombing to my home for a dinner, and I learned that the bomb squad had been downtown before the bomb went off. I just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I double-checked it. I found a whole office full of people who had been watching the bomb squad in the alleyway. That concerned me. And then the largest manhunt in American history was going on for John Doe number 2. There was a $2 million reward out for the man. And all of a sudden, they said, hey, it was all a mistake. There is no John Doe number 2. But, John, there were 24 eyewitnesses that saw McVeigh downtown the morning of the bombing, and not one saw him alone.
Wow.
And many of them described the same dark-skinned man with the ball cap with the flames on the side and the tattoo on his shoulder. That was concerning to me. I joined up with McVeigh's defense team. I told them, look, if you want to point the finger at someone else, I'll help you. So I was privy to all their information that they had, and I was an asset to them because people would talk to me as a victim that wouldn't talk to them. You know, I found out about McVeigh at the Dreamland Motel. He stayed there the week before the bombing, and he drove the truck with the bomb in it to the front of the Murrah building. Wow. And I learned that during the time McVeigh was staying there were men coming and going from his room. I felt that was important, that we should know who those men were. So that's what set me on a trajectory to investigate the bombing.
Wow. You know, what this, excuse me, this is what I never understand about government. Now, you spent, 30 years questioning the official Oklahoma City narrative. Here's my question. What parallels do you see between what you uncovered then and the way tragedies are explained or not explained today? Because you have people like Candace Owens saying that the Charlie Kirk assassination, she believes government officials were involved in that. I mean, 9/11, that official narrative has now been questioned. What answer that question? The way tragedies are explained or not explained today, based upon your 30 years of questioning.
Well, one of the things I've tried to do, John, is not create the narrative. Today, in today's world with social media, we don't know what the truth is. You know, somebody can believe something and tell the story, and you can create a conspiracy theory, and it just gets out of hand. I just think it's horrible. What I've tried to do is stay with the truth. I didn't go on my feelings about, oh, well, what do I think could have happened? And I didn't make things up and then try to prove if that happened or not. I simply took the evidence as I gathered it and created my story. And you can read about it in my book, Shadows of the Conspiracy. I want to know things like, why weren't the fingerprints in McVeigh's car run through the FBI computers for a check?
Yeah.
The FBI agent Hupp said that he wasn't allowed to run those fingerprints because it wasn't cost effective. That kind of thing brings me pause. One of the things that I know there's something amiss in my story is that 60 Minutes called me. They wanted to do an interview with Terry Nichols, the bomber, but they had a problem. Terry wouldn't do it unless I was the one that conducted it.
Right.
So the day he was to call and tell me everything, he was notified by the warden that I was taken off his calling list. I had been talking to the man for 10 years, and on the day he agreed to tell me the whole story of what really happened in the bombing, the warden took him off. And I have to wonder why. There were so many things. I met with FBI agent Danny Colson that was brought in after the bombing. He was high profile. He worked at Ruby Ridge. He worked at Waco. He was part of the elite. He was brought in to head the team. Well, I learned he had retired. So I went to Texas to where he lived, and I called him to see if he would meet with me. And he met with me, and I showed him all the evidence that I had. And I showed him the stuff I had about Carol Howe. I had learned there was an ATF informant that warned her handler that people at Elohim City are planning a bombing. Colson hadn't seen that stuff.
Wow.
I was amazed. I showed him McVeigh's phone records where McVeigh had called Elohim City 2 weeks before the bombing, 2 minutes after calling the Ryder Truck Company. He asked to speak to a gentleman named Andreas Strassmeyer. Strassmeyer was allowed to leave the country and return to Germany without ever being questioned by the FBI. I felt like that was pretty important, that he should have been interviewed, but that just didn't happen. There were things that didn't make sense. McVeigh's sister was laundering $100 bills that her brother told her came from bank robberies. Well, there's a group of bank robbers living in Elohim City that are pulling off bank robberies and they're using the funds to finance terrorist activities.
Wow.
You know, there's some real questions here. And to your point in the beginning about how terrorism and things have just gotten so out of hand, I remember giving an interview 30 years ago when the reporter was talking to me, and I said, you know what? It won't be too many years that when I tell people I lost my grandchildren in the bombing, they'll ask which one. And now we've been anesthetized to it with all the school shootings and stuff. I talk about this in my book. I have documents in my book. I have McVeigh's phone records. I have Tim McVeigh's sister's confession where she says she's laundering these $100 bills.
Wow.
There's just so much.
Wow.
Kathy? And in talking with Stephen Jones, McVeigh's attorney, I learned that McVeigh had been given a lie detector test. And when asked if he acted alone in the bombing, he failed the test. He wasn't alone. And Stephen Jones told him, Tim, I think you're lying to me. You know, you need to tell me who the other people are. And Tim said, well, if I tell you, will it make any difference for my case? You know, he knew he was going to get the death penalty. And Jones said, well, probably not. And Jones says he still regrets it to that day. And so McVeigh said, well, then what's the point? And he remained silent and wouldn't give up the others that are involved. But I think we need to know who those other people were.
Yeah. Kathy, based on your research, are, are there warning signs? Let me phrase it this way. What warning signs are repeating right now that leaders are failing to confront based upon all of the research you've seen and you've done based on Oklahoma City? And as you watch the news today, do you see leaders failing to confront certain issues? And are we repeating the same cycles?
Yeah, I think we're definitely repeating the same cycles. I mean, these things just keep happening over and over. And I don't know what's wrong up in Washington. I don't know why they can't see the warning signs and they can't do something tangible to hold people accountable. You know, I think the truth is so important. In these days, nobody knows what the truth is.
Yeah.
You know, we're told, you know, that it's fake news or it's not real news or that didn't happen or this side did it. We're divided against ourselves. We're not working as a team.
But also when you have many Americans who think a lot of these, like the Oklahoma City bombing, 9/11 are inside jobs. I mean, how can you? I mean, Tucker Carlson. You know, the media is pushing back now about him trying to air alternative voices about 9/11. You have Candace Owens, who also has been talking about it. Now she's talking about that the government had something to do with Charlie Kirk's killing. There's some who've said Israel knew about October 7th before it happened, and they allowed it to happen. How do we confront that, Kathy? Where we, on one hand, we have a tragedy, and then on the other hand, there are people who believe government has a hand in it. Do you think the government had a hand in Oklahoma City?
Well, the answer is I don't know. I certainly know they had enough evidence from their ATF informant that the building was going to blow up, that they should have done something. And I did learn that ATF agents were brought in the night before, and they were staking out the building. And I think what they did when no one came to blow up the building in the middle of the night, when they called the bomb squad in, and that's why the bomb squad was there, they gave the building a clean sweep and let everyone go into the building without warning them that it was a dangerous day.
Yeah.
Wow. I think after what happened at Waco and Ruby Ridge and some of these horrible events that have happened, I think they wanted to ride in like John Wayne on a big white horse and save the day. And their operation got out of hand. I know there are those that believe, some people believe that they blew up the building, but I'm not there with the evidence that I have. But it certainly was preventable.
Wow. Now, here's my final question. What do you want your book, Shadows of Conspiracy, to leave behind? Not just as a record of Oklahoma City, but as a warning for America in 2025 and beyond?
Well, I think we need to wake up and we need to pay attention. We need to elect some strong leaders. We need to hold people accountable. You know, I don't have the answer, but I know that things are really bad. And my book paints the picture. It's a thriller. It's a crime story.
Yeah.
It tells the bombing the way I believe that it really happened, based on my 30 years of evidence. And in Shadows of Conspiracy, I've created the dialogue between McVeigh and the other people that I believe that were involved in the bombing. And I've named them there, and I've got the documents in there that proves what's in there.
Wow. Kathy, where can people find your book?
It's available on Amazon or through Barnes & Noble.
Yeah. And can people follow you on social media?
I'm on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. I guess one more quick question, Kathy. The parents, I don't know if it was your daughter's kids or your son's kids. How are
my daughters?
How is she? I mean, how is life for them right now?
Well, I use the analogy, if you were to lose your eyesight, would there ever be a day that you didn't wake up and mourn the fact you couldn't see the beautiful sun rising? Life has changed. Life is good, but we still have that hole in our heart that Jason Colton left behind.
As someone who's lost their son, I know that hole, and it sucks, and it hurts, and it's the worst thing ever. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Kathy Sanders, author of the book Shadows of Conspiracy. Thanks so much for joining us on Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Kathy Sanders. Go out and get her book, Shadows of Conspiracy. Paul? Wow. What do you think that echo was? Because I did hear it, Paul.
Not sure.
Yeah. But, I mean, in prepping for our next interview, you remember when Joe Biden and Trump were arguing about Antifa? Do you remember that? You remember what Joe Biden said?
I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what
It's an idea.
FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what?
We're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
And remember, this is the same FBI director who didn't know that there were FBI assets on January 6th, too, right? That same one. This is the same FBI director that didn't warn us about many of things. That Christopher Wray, right? That's who you're talking about? Yeah, okay. I'll believe him any day of the week because he's so truthful. He's so truthful. Did you hear about this story? What the heck is going on? A Detroit man was kidnapped and beaten?
A man is found kidnapped and beaten next to his burning car. His wife tied up during a home invasion. Agents say it was all part of a plot to steal thousands of dollars, and now it's who's facing charges that has people turning heads. We first told you about this story and the string of crimes that happened on Labor Day after video went viral of one of the victims receiving a large sum of money.
And right now, 5 people are facing charges of conspiracy to commit kidnapping. They appeared in court this morning. Investigators say they are among the accused, and they are some of the victims' own family members. I should let you know we've chosen to blur the victim's face since this is an ongoing investigation. It's the viral video of a Detroit man's encounter with a popular social media influencer that had people talking about acts of kindness last month. Oh, my God. That same video, according to court documents, had agents with the ATF using it as part of their probe into the kidnapping, beating, and an alleged plot to steal a large sum of money from the Detroiter many called a Good Samaritan.
This is all shocking. This is all shocking news for me right now.
After finding the man's SUV torched on Labor Day, the ATF...
And you've seen that guy who goes around blessing people, Paul. I'll never forget the mom, the old grandma that he helped. Gave her $10,000. I think he bought her a new car. I mean, this guy, it's amazing the work he does. Michael Letts, President and CEO of Invest USA, coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.